Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Phoenix.axel, and if you did not know that, and you subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you get to know me better and you never miss a video. It's officially been 5 years since I've started posting on YouTube, which is crazy, weird, insane. You would think that I would have posted more. Don't ever think that about me. Every single time that I say that I'm going to post more, I never post. If you only have subscribed on YouTube, which is a little strange, I post more on TikTok and my Instagram stories. All of my socials are linked below, and you should check those out instead. It is no secret that I make music, and if you didn't know that I make music, also linked below. You know what else happens when I make music? I make merch. On my Twitter a couple weeks ago, someone tagged me saying that they were listening to It's Not Fair and how much they loved that song, and I realized that I've never done a deep dive on my lyrics, and since 4 of you care, I figured what would be better than actually doing a deep dive on my lyrics for you guys, because I've never done that before and I should do that. I have to give a disclaimer before I start, and that's that some of these songs I genuinely cannot give detail as to what they're about, who they're about, or why I wrote the song. I do want to start off with the I'm Done Remembering Ghosts storyline, because there kind of is a storyline throughout the entirety of the EP, and honestly it's just kind of through the title. First of all, I have to tell you guys that the title is inspired by a line from Glee. Don't look at me. I was really into Glee. And in season 1, episode 16, there's a line between Finn and his mom says, "We don't need any more memories of ghosts." And I thought, in 2021, I'm gonna use that. And I did. So the entire EP is kind of 6 different stories about ghosts. The ghosts being different people or situations in my life that I have realized that I can't change or I need to move past. And it's a lot, it dives a lot more into my mind and my nostalgic feelings, my nostalgic brain, my mental illnesses, way more than 15 did, actually, if you could believe that. So 15 for me was more relationship based, and I tried to get away from that with this EP, just because those types of things aren't really in my life anymore. I didn't have anything to write about, and I don't really want to continue writing about the same 2 guys for forever. Just because it's not fair to me and it's not fair to them. Never thought I'd say that, but it's not. I'm just gonna kind of go down the list with the EP, starting with Almost Sufficient and Possibly Consistent. First of all, this is honestly one of my favorite songs that I've ever put out. Not my favorite song that I've ever written, because I never stop writing. And because I never stop writing, my writing continues to get better and better. But favorite song that I've ever put out, because my friend Kennedy is in the very beginning, and my little brother best friend forever plays guitar on the chorus, which is incredible, and he did an amazing job recording it and helping me figure out what I should be doing chord progression wise, just in general with that song. If you didn't see my live stream back in June, he played Almost Sufficient and Possibly Consistent with me, and we did a cover of Chesapeake by Better Living Community Center. So shout out Robin and Kennedy. They literally slayed so hard. I hate that word. They killed it. I'm not gonna sing it. This is not genius. The line "Layer My Fingers in Golden Metal," specifically Golden Metal, connects to the line in Teenaged and Useless, "Pull the headache from my head like a golden thread." Golden thread is it to me, it reminds me of Hercules and the way that they were trying to cut Hercules life string, and instead they couldn't. I imagine pulling your headaches from your head to unwind this ball of yarn and this ball of string that's so filled your head, that's filled your head so much that your head is full and it hurts so like wanting someone to like take it out of me. She asked me how I live this way. My head burns and my mouth runs dry. When I was avidly getting tarot readings, my best friend who was giving me tarot readings, one time she tapped into my energy, and I don't even think she knows that this is about her. She like tapped into my energy, or like I don't remember how she described it, but she like got an overwhelming headache, and she asked me if it was like always like this, and said that she like wondered how I live this way, like how I live like this. And it wasn't inherently a negative like descriptor for what she was feeling, and I never took it as negative. The idea for Almost Efficient, Possibly Consistent really started with the chorus. Like, I remember showing the chorus to one of my friends at school, and she was like, this is really good, what does it mean? And I was like, I don't know. Cut me whole, flip me out, you won't feel the same once I turn around. This is the idea that someone will feel differently about you after you've literally turned yourself inside out or committed a heinous crime. But like turning yourself inside out, meaning like same thing as like bending over backwards for someone and completely changing yourself to fit a higher standard or a bigger narrative. Also, I feel it's the same way that someone looks at you after like they've seen emotional scars, physical scars, like something like that, like how they look at you differently, and like how you can kind of see the like, not the pity in their eyes, but you can see like in their eyes how their perception of you has changed. The Soul That Binds Me Drives in Different Directions is about getting further from yourself to the point that you don't know who you are anymore, and you're like not able to decide like if you want to stop the car or not. It's also kind of like existential driving. I did a lot of that writing this EP. Cut me whole, flip me out, you'd like me better, guts hanging out. This person would like me more or like better if I went to the furthest extremes to prove that I'm like worthy of being noticed or being perceived. Throwing ropes on paper-filled bottles is literally about messages in bottles and pulling them to shore. Speaking in tongues but you never listen, dissolve this phrase because her words are all the same. This line is about being misgendered and like having my ideas be watered down to simplistic phrases and shells of full ideas, and that, like, I feel like that's something that happens a lot to female presenting people in the music industry, and just in general. It's a line rooted in misogyny, well, not rooted in misogyny, but like about misogynistic ideas and themes. For specifically female presenting musicians, I feel that the focus lies more on how nice the vocals lay on the ears and how pretty they sound, as opposed to how the musician actually wants to write the music and how they want to come across. It kind of, I guess, is a lot like Olivia Rodrigo's new song, Pretty Isn't Pretty. I wouldn't say that I would relate to it as much. I think that it's a good commentary on, like, current standings with, like, women in general. I hope that makes sense. Signs to say I can stay here are crying highway signs. Once a week, I would drive down this very specific road that would have a sign that said, "You matter." And, like, the first time that I really noticed it was after there were a couple really sad things that were happening in my life and in the area. So I was like, oh, like, it's nice, but also it's kind of like like it's allowing me to continue on with my drive. The question of how do you live this way pops up twice in this song. Specifically, though, throughout the EP, I keep asking myself questions, and they're kind of meant to be as a reflection and, like, grounding sense, seeing as I'm reflecting on a part of my life that I can't change, no matter how desperately that I want to. I just have to learn to come to terms with these questions. Not only come to terms with the questions, but also come to figure out how to ask myself follow-up questions to, instead of look at this as such a broad, how do you live this way question, it can be split into multiple different like smaller questions. What can you do to change the past? And I can't change the past. So how can I figure out how to not deal with it, but come to terms with the fact that I can't change the past, and how can I reflect on this and continue to move forward in a healthy way? And that is a lot of questions that I should be bringing up in therapy. Why did I let you see me this way? And the repetitive I'm sorry you had to see me this way. The idea that after doing all these things for the person, you've let them get too close, and you believe that they'll never want to like see you or talk to you again because you got too literal and too raw and too emotional, and you've taken off this mask, and they've now like gotten to see like who you really are. The line "I stayed awake and live streamed resin" was a very quick change for me. It was originally going to stay the same, but I changed it like literally 2 days before I recorded it, and it's kind of about the TikTok live streams where people were making resin and how resin crafts were so prevalent a couple months ago, and it honestly just reflects on rampant consumerism and the constant like in-your-face media. It's also, for me, the idea that people are making a living off of something that no one will ever use and that'll never dissolve in a landfill. It's like something that I always think about. The line "why would you listen when I'm around" is honestly about misogyny and just relates back to the "her words are all the same" line, and it also relates to specific themes and memories from my childhood. For the song 15, it took me a couple tries to write it the way that I wanted to write it. I have it being not what I originally wrote it as. The whole album 15, I really honestly didn't think anyone was going to listen to it, and so like writing it was just kind of like a hodgepodge of my thoughts, and looking back on it, like I would change a couple things about it, but I know that you guys like it, so if anything, it like when I end up touring, I'll probably end up making like a live album of it. I don't know, maybe someday, maybe never, maybe I'll never do that ever. I'll go to school every day, because if I don't, that'll make it worse and all my friends will move on. The fear that as soon as I stop seeing someone daily, they'll forget about me and move on to like the next like better person, I guess. A lot of these I'm going to like move very quickly through, just because I don't have deep explanations for everything. And I'll stay up until it hits 2, getting up so hard but I crave the quiet of the moon. This is the feeling that it's easiest to exist when no one else is awake. Specifically, like when I wrote this during quarantine, it was really easy to stay up until 3-4 in the morning, and like wake up at 9 when I need to get ready for school, and like being able to like truly be yourself and not worry about other people's opinions. But obviously the consequence that comes from this is that when you have to wake up and be at school the next day, you just want to sleep, and it's not easy. A lot of 15 is relationship based, and I forget how depressing 15 is until I sit down and read it like this. This is like so emotionally taxing, because I was happier then. Am I better now? This kind of relates to the previous line, but also the idea that I don't understand how I feel, and I can't remember or like begin to process if I'm like doing better. The album like starts and ends with this idea of being loved by someone who doesn't want to love you, and doesn't have the capacity to, and that also follows through on "I'm Done Remembering Ghosts." The last line of "Projector Memories" is "just accept his love, you don't need to start over again." This ties into the end of 15. "My bed will never face the windows again. I can never go past the bridge to your heaven." This relates to 7 and Kerosene. I can't get into those. I won't get into them, but that line does relate. "So I'm sorry, Mom, that I'm not your little girl. Am I so selfish as to change my existence and make the green that's on my skin turn to gray?" It's a lot of trans guilt, but also specifically green that's on my skin. That was supposed to connect to the 7 music video. For a really long time, I had this idea that I was going to record the 7 music video on the bridge that the Kerosene cover art is on, and in like my garage, And one of the things that was going to happen was I was going to have green splatter paint on my arms to reflect how the idea that someone is still with you, like the memory of them is still present, but just physically show that because I can't show what's in my brain. It's Not Fair is really I forget about that song. And I don't forget about it because it's bad. I forget about it because I just forget that I put it out, because it is one of my more conceptual songs. And I don't think anybody's realized that or put that together, but I really wish you guys would put that together, that it is conceptual. The entirety of It's Not Fair is really a reflection and a full story of my relationship with the person that Seven is about, with the person that Some of Kerosene is about, It's for the Better is about, and like some of other songs on 15, and New Times. I need to stop writing songs about men. But the voice messages kind of start off very positive. In my head, they start off positive and they get progressively worse, and I think that really details like the progression of the relationship without explicitly saying what was going on. Specifically, the second voice message at the beginning, hey, I saw your mom called. I didn't mean to worry you or anything, but I fell asleep. I'm sorry I didn't text you beforehand, but I'll let you know next time, I promise. That was something that actually happened, and like the more that I think about it, the more that I'm like, oh, I should not have been going through that at 14. Like, I should not have. I don't want to get like too far into this. Like, I feel like I'm getting really, really depressing, and I apologize, but I don't know how else to explain this. But that voice message is a real thing that happened, and a real literal situation that occurred. It's Not Fair is very self-explanatory, so I'm gonna go over as little as possible. I don't think it's fair of you to be able to go about your life the way you used to, is quite literally what it means. I have to deal with the repercussions of showing someone affection. The person that it's about doesn't have to deal with these consequences every day. How does it feel to know that I will tell everyone the truth, but no one will know it's about you? Writing songs. That's what that's about. There's a lot of things in this song that I genuinely cannot get into. And like a lot of things, specifically with 15, I was writing it because it sounded good. The fear of being loved just outweighed the need. I remember just writing that because it sounded cool. I don't think it ever had like a legit meaning behind it. It's Not Fair relates to intermission, because while I was looking for like voice messages to go off of and like see if I had any voice messages from this person, just in general, because I was like, well, I don't really remember anything that I said, so if I could find something that was like kind of similar, that would be great. And then I ended up finding a voice message from the guy that I was dating, and I was kind of able to piece a couple things together, and that's what this last voice message is specific. I know that's one of the ones that you guys really, really wanted me to go into, and honestly, it's one that I cannot go super into without bringing up old things that really don't need to be brought up. Alright, I'm just gonna do New Times next because I like that song. It's my only piano song. New Times of Roman and Yor is quite literally the guy that all of these songs are about wrote me a Google Docs letter in December of 2020. Yeah, 2020. And I found it in March of 2021. And it was written single-spaced, 12-point font, Times New Roman. And I had a complete, one of like the worst breakdowns that I've ever had in the shower. And it's kind of not just about the guy that Seven is about, it's also about the person that repercussions of giving someone affection is about, just because of how he reacted to me when I was dealing with this, because he reacted poorly too. That's kind of like the premise. Single space and 12-point font, that's what took me out. The breakdown of the century took place on my own couch. I couldn't rhyme shower with anything. Honestly, the line, I don't know what you want from me, is just literally what it means. Like, why else would this person be writing this to me if I have already given them every explanation that I can? You dodge a bullet for me just to let me take them all in right over my heart. That is kind of the reverse of Grenade by Bruno Mars. There are nothing but violet daisies in my dreams. My friends told me that you still stalk my page, but if it makes you happy, then go right ahead. Violet daisies, when my last ex broke up with me, his mom dropped off a bouquet of like purple flowers, and I just assumed they were daisies. I didn't put it on here, but let's do All the Time Under a Streetlight. And speaking of which, hey, it's me. I got different hair. I don't want to talk about it, okay? Great. I have merch. This is the shirt design. It's inspired by All the Time Under a Streetlight off of the new Phoenix.axel EP, I'm Done Remembering Ghosts, which I'm talking about in this video, okay? It's a handmade poster of all of the lyrics on I'm Done Remembering Ghosts, okay? Made it myself. Get the patches. Come on. Rep a small artist. All right, come on. Do you hear all the screams of satisfied customers? I don't, because none of you have ordered yet. Come on. Come on. If you didn't already know, I do have a playlist of songs that I thought of while I was writing I'm Done Remembering Ghosts. Like, for the repercussions of giving someone attention, I wrote that around the same time that I first heard Complex. But for All the Time Under a Streetlight, if you could believe it, that's a Midtown reference. What? If you remember last year, I did a video exactly like this about Riot Fest, saying I've never listened to a Midtown song before, and I hadn't. I had not listened to a Midtown song before. That has changed. All the Time Under a Streetlight is, back to that existential drive. I drove home after seeing Daniel Howell's, comedy show last November, listening to So Long as We Keep Our Bodies Numb We're Safe. It's a 13-minute song. If you haven't listened to the song, you should go listen to it. It's I love that song so much, and I want to get a tattoo for it because I love that song so much. And when I got home, I sat in my car crying, having such an existential dilemma in my head after seeing this comedy show and after just a ton of stuff that I had been going through at the time. And I looked to my left, and there's a street light at the end of my street, and I just sobbed, and I sent a picture to Dest, and every time that I listened to that song, I would send him a picture of that street light, and he was like, stop listening to that song, stop it. All the Time Under a Streetlight is about grief and dealing with the premise of death. I'd send you love letters the way I know best and get back return to sender notices. She'll never walk the street again, and all of a sudden I'm playing Barbies in your attic again. One of my best friends from childhood, I would play Barbies in her attic. And, like, that's one of my core memories, is, like, waking up early to sleep over and playing with her Barbies that were in her attic. Getting back return to sender notices because the mailbox is closed and you can't mail something to them anymore because nobody's going to pick it up. The second verse, uttering the words, I'm not happy anymore while I'm drinking in the front of your car, we've learned so much about you tonight. I see the burning question in your eyes, it's reflected off of the broken outdoor lights. That's something that did happen. My friend and I went out for dinner one night and we sat in my driveway just discussing our lives, and I was drinking a Sprite, by the way. I changed my ways. The line of I changed my ways but only I would notice that I've changed my ways and only I noticed is kind of like being such a background character, if you want to give this idea that main characters exist, being such a background character that you could make yourself better and nobody around you is going to notice that you're better, notice that you're different until you say something. I'm playing Bloody Mary in your bathroom again. Same friend, same sleepover, or different sleepover. We played Bloody Mary in her bathroom, and that was one of the scariest things that I've ever done. That's so sad. Oh my god. If I'd stayed the same, Will You Still Treat Me This Way is about if I, like, the same, like, trans guilt. Like, if I had just stayed, like, cis, would you still look at me the same way that you, like, would you still look at me the way that I, like, you look at me now? Would you still talk to me the way that you talk to me now? That kind of thought process. The last line, I'm staring down at life and she is all the time under a streetlight. That's the Midtown reference. The last 10 minutes of So Long As We Keep Our Bodies Numb is a continuous cycle where the phrase "don't listen," all the time, you've had all the time in the world, plays over and over and over again. And so that was kind of what I implemented into that song. So please don't sue me, Mr. Midtown. Man on the Moon, I don't ever think that I've, like, explicitly talked about Man on the Moon. If you want to, you could look at Genius for the lyrics for 15. Shameless promo, by the way. Robin did all the lyrics on that, like the putting it on Genius. Man on the Moon is specifically about after going to tour a like a cosmetology school, because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm in cosmetology school. I had a complete breakdown because I realized that I don't want to be a cosmetologist. Like, I really, really want to do music and I want to pursue touring, and that is so unsustainable, especially in the current climate where everyone is a independent musician, basically, that I know that I have to have something that can back it up, that I can have, like, a livable job. So that's why I'm doing cosmetology. But with Man on the Moon, it's kind of my thought process of tell me I'm, like, not f***ing it up. And I've spent 4 years of high school like getting into AP classes and doing high math only to go into like not a traditional college. And the idea that you're, like, going through it alone and you can't really tell your friends because they're all going to college, and you don't want to, like, burden them with the idea. This is so depressing. I'm so sorry. Crack Over the Eye, I Don't Want to Lose My Life literally is about Penny from Amazing World of Gumball. I know I've talked about this on Twitter. When Penny, like, becomes herself and, like, comes into herself, she, like, removes her shell and can express herself more freely, and I love that. And I, like, it's something that I've really attached myself to ever since I saw the episode when I was, like, 10, 11, probably closer to 13. But it's something that I've always thought about, and it's always been in the back of my head that, like, getting out of your shell is a good thing, and being able to express yourself is so much more fulfilling and so much cooler than, like, conformity. The whole idea of, like, being the man on the moon, there when you see me, I'll be gone without a trace, I'll be here when you miss me, just don't look too hard for me, is about dying, and, like, don't miss me too much. But also, I've written a lot of unreleased poetry about the man on the moon, and how I can't see the man on the moon, but I know that he's there because other people have told me he's there. It's kind of like a religious aspect for me. Like, I know he's there because other people have said that he's there, but I don't see it, so I don't really, I'm like, oh, okay, like, I guess I can say that he's there because other people have said it, but I haven't seen it, so I don't believe it. I more see, like, a rabbit on the moon, which is also something that follows through recently with rabbits. like the rabbit hole is a lot of things that I will use currently. I hope that makes sense. Projector memories is kind of about another existential feeling. I only see things when they're out of body. That's really about the disconnection from reality and like derealization, depersonalization. That connects into the same line of my memories look just like the movies. Home videos don't look the same anymore. The projection seems to be a little bit more orange. It's also about like the aging of physical media. So I started taking pictures as a video plays so that every time I cry I can feel just a little alright. That's about taking live photos. True love is just something they want to weaponize. That's about like Disney movies and that the idea that true love to me doesn't exist, and like romantic soulmates to me doesn't exist. Platonic soulmates exist, but in my head romantic soulmates don't exist. And that kind of connects into the last line of you should just accept his love, you don't need to start over again. Because if it's true love, then it doesn't matter. But it does matter because it's my feelings. I hope that makes sense. I feel like my explanations got weaker and weaker as I got towards the end of this. If you like this video and you want to see more, I'm going to be putting out more videos. Trust me on this, because I'm going to Vegas next month for When We Were Young. And I'm going to be with my best friend little brother, Dest. That's insane and crazy to say, but it's going to happen, and I'm going to have a couple videos with him. Maybe like 2 or 3. Maybe. So, I'm going to try and make more videos, but I honestly don't know what to make videos about anymore. Just because I don't make art a lot anymore. I don't paint a lot anymore. You guys let me know what you want to see. I know there have been some requests for me to finish the Danger Days series, and honestly at this point the only thing that I can see myself doing would be a updated lore with the addition of both comics, because I do have National Anthem and I do have True Lives of Fabulous Killjoys, as we know, because I do have the video where I deep dive into the large True Lives of book. So if anything, I'd go through the National Anthem lore and how it kind of connects into Danger Days, but I don't see myself doing the full original Danger Days lineup that I had, just because I don't listen to MCR as much. As you can see from the everything about me right now, I'm not a huge MCR fan anymore. I'm not as into that scene as I was. So. If you guys have any other suggestions for videos, please let me know. Comment them down below and I will do my best to do them. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. You guys like my ghost socks? They glow in the dark because it's Halloween. I have to stretch because, oh my god, I've lost all flexibility in my body. What if I do the rest of the video like this? Alright guys, so Projector Memories is